What is happening, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. KG is back. It's been a few days, but there's not been a lot going on, has there? There's not been too much going on, which is a shame. Is it concerning? We're on the 24th of June as we do this live. I would have loved a manager to have been in by last week. So it being the case of being it's Saturday now and, so close to July, I wish we did have a manager in now. We can only hope that with latest reports that things are getting closer. But proof will be in the pudding, won't it? We've seen so many words over the last few days. I mean, so many different reports, guesswork, and everything else like that. I'm just kind of getting numb to it now. I need to see actions now. I need to see it from the official accounts and say, here's our manager, here's some players coming in. And that's what will get me excited anyway. I don't know about you guys. But listen, shout out to everyone that's joining me for the live now and who's watching the replays. Much appreciated as always. Hit the like on the video, subscribe if you're not subscribed, and drop your comments on anything discussed or anything that's on your mind. JBL UFC. Hey KG, don't often catch you live, but watch every vid. Hope you well. Yeah, shout out to you. Yeah, it's not always just about the live audience. As much as I love my live chat and how interactive it is sometimes it's viewers that don't interact. When I've been out at Leeds United, actually, the people that come up to say hello are usually people that don't leave comments. So I'm thinking, oh, when they've told me their name, I'm like, oh God, I hope I've not forgotten you. But it's because they don't leave comments, and that's it. It's all love. All the support is appreciated. Trust me. Scally Whiskey saying, "Sup KG, unexpected stream." Yeah, man. I thought I'd just go live on this Saturday and see how many losers are in the house like me. We could all be losers together. But I just wanted to give my thoughts. And somebody asked a good question on Instagram. And listen, Instagram name is the same as the YouTube one, so follow me on there. They haven't got back to me to give their name, so I'll leave them anonymous. But with the something I'm going to talk about later in terms of departures going out and nothing coming in, they asked me if I was worried. And I'm not worried. I'm not worried about any of the players that we've been linked to moves out, concrete links out. I'm not worried about any of those guys leaving because I didn't expect them to stay. And I also didn't think that it could help us get back up to the Prem. So for me, it's not concerning. Because if we had the same squad as last season, let's just say, I wouldn't expect that team to challenge for the top six. Really and truly, I wouldn't. I would not expect them to challenge for the top six at all. Not that squad. So the more of them go out, it just means that there'll be probably youngsters in the place until signings come in. And that would be where I think we'd finish. I think we'd finish outside the top six. It's all about incomings for me. As well as players going out, it's about incoming. So the names that we're seeing linked with moves out, concrete links with moves out, no concern for me at all. Exactly, Gavin. Most of the crap. Anyway, that's what I'm talking about, Gavin. Seeing Llorente with link with moves out, Robin Koch. We see Rasmus as well, which we'll get to later. Am I supposed to be concerned about those guys going? Not for me, man. The quicker they go, it means that there's more space on the wage bill, means that we can make moves. There's better players out there than what we're going to be letting go. Trust me. And Paul here saying, can't believe we're back here doing this again. I know, Paul. I posted it on my IG yesterday, but I opened the Fantasy Premier League app and it said, because you got your team, your support, and it's got Leeds, and it just said no matches this season. It's like, ouch. Premier League, you didn't have to do us like that, just tuck us in a corner somewhere. But once you're gone, you're gone. They don't care. T85 saying Rasmus will struggle in the championship. I actually had Rasmus down on my bench for the championship, just for the reasons that I feel that's possibly his level. But him going doesn't make me go, oh my God, we're going to lose Rasmus. Who are we going to get? You can get any 10 for penny right back who will give you what Rasmus will probably give you. There is zero concern about losing so many of these players. When I tell you, I can't wait to see the back of a lot of these players. You guys have no idea how much I mean it. I love the club, but I do not love hardly any of these players that are in the club. I don't even like them. I can barely tolerate them. They annoy me that much, just how bad they are. You know what I mean? So yeah. But yeah, exactly, Gregory. Happy to free up Rasmus wages. Yeah, and it's a little bit hot here, so excuse me if I have to dab myself like a preacher doing a sermon. But it's very, very muggy in here. I don't know how it is where you guys are. But yeah, listen, let's go into the manager first. Let's head into the manager talk first. There was a report by the Mail on Friday. I'm going to try and get that up, but they've got a lot of pop-ups on this channel, on this page. So many pop-ups. Let me just share the screen here. Okay. Let me go full screen. Okay, here we are. So yeah, Farke had talks with the club, and according to Simon Jones for the Mail. I don't know how credible that is, so I'm just going to let you know from that now. It's not usually somebody that I go to, but I'm just giving you the latest in terms of this. And he's emerged as the leading candidate to take over Leeds United following a meeting on Friday, which was yesterday as we record this, as we broadcast this, I should say. Daniel Farke, who won the championship twice with Norwich City, had been on the shortlist with Scott Parker and Patrick Vieira. And it seems that Farke is looking for his own backroom staff. This bit in the article got me though. Leeds want a manager with experience of both the Premier League and Championship as they look to bounce back into the top flight at the first time of asking. His record in the Premier League was not so impressive, but Leeds wants to ensure they secure promotion first and believe the charismatic German has the qualities to reshape their squad. Now, listen, I don't know about that, mate. Charismatic to me, I mean, there must be different variations of what that means, but he's not charismatic to me. Charismatic to me is a Pep, is Jose, those kind of people. Even Sean Dyche is charismatic for me. But yeah, I don't know about charismatic, but look, the bit in there that I want to focus on actually is the experience of both the Premier League and Championship as we look to bounce back at the first time of asking. And for me, I always come on here and I talk um about short-term things and everything else like that, and that's part of the problem why we've been relegated, because we haven't been looking long term. Apart from some of the signings, like you say, like a Jorginho, Rutter, and things like that, I don't believe that the club's been looking long term, which is the reason why we found ourselves back in the championship. But at this point in time, just getting back out of this league is the number one. It's the absolute priority. So if they believe Daniel Farke is the man to get us up, then appoint him. Get it done. Get his backroom staff in, and let's go. Let's get on with it. You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, Andy here, what Premier League experience getting relegated? Yeah. And this is what I would just hope, in that we're looking at it from a point of view where we're not going to hang everything on him. If he gets us up and then they do their thing again, I believe they're using AI intelligence and everything else, a lot of different databases to appoint him. I would hope that they would look at it again in the summer and go, thanks a lot, Daniel Farke, but we're going to go in a different direction. It's cold, and a lot of people do not like that. And I understand that you guys aren't as detachable as I am, but I would want them to look at it in the summer and go, we're going to start afresh with a coach that we believe can take us forward now and get on with it. But I just don't see it happening at this club. This club is, it's just too sentimental to do that. But what I'm trying to say is I am looking at it short term now myself and just saying, who's the best man for the job to get us up? And if they believe it's Daniel Farke, let's get on with it. Let's get on with it now, and let's get players in that he wants to bring in, that he believes can help get us up, and let's get more players out of the door. As I said about earlier about that question that was asked to me, I see some players coming in from our young players like JB, like Sonny Perkins to help out, Mateo Joseph. I see them being blended in with the new signings, and that excites me. That makes me think, okay, we can possibly do something. But if I see some of these players line up for us in the opening game, I've got no expectation from them, zero. Paul Gray saying would be a good manager to get us back, Farke, but not Premier League level. I agree, KG, sick to death of the soft mentality within some of the fans. Want to see winning, not sentiment. Yeah, that's where I am. I am Paul. I've always been that way. I've always wanted Leeds United to win. Like I say, even when we was in League One, during the depths of hell, I wanted us to win the Johnson Spate Trophy. I did. I wanted us to pick up that trophy, and we just couldn't do it. But that's where I am, Paul. I just want to see the club win. We should be winning. With all the resources that we've got, the income we bring in, the worldwide support that we have, we should be looking to win. But it's lately, over the last couple of years, especially in our downtime, it just seems the bare minimum is what fans are happy with. Oh, a player's got a good attitude. Oh, we love him. Oh, he worked really hard today. I mean, these are low things to consider here. These are low things to grab onto. They really are. you know. So I mean, Abstract here saying, if it's Farke, what is the point just to sack him once we get back to the Prem? Because his Premier League record is horrendous. And people can talk about Norwich not signing players and everything else like that. Norwich team gets picked apart. It got picked apart, and there's players in there that he could have done better with. Now, it's not to say that he would have kept Norwich up with what they did, but it was the way that they used to get beat. He's got the record for the longest streak of defeats in the Prem. You don't get that by accident. You know, not even Derby did that in their worst season when they got 15 points or whatever it was. And also for me, and I know I've said it before, I just can't shake how accepting he was of losing. I can't accept the way he used to talk after games. I'm not talking about his accent or nothing like that, people. I'm talking about just how accepting he was of defeats. I don't want that. But in the championship, he's definitely got a good record. Really and truly, he's got a good record in the championship. Cannot argue with it. The only thing I would say, and I would just add to that though, is the difference between the expectation at Norwich and Leeds United. And again, that's something that he could get away with. And maybe that's why he could talk the way he was talking after Norwich would lose 10 games in a row, 15 games in a row. Maybe that's why he could talk that way, because let's face it, what are Norwich fans going to do? They don't really, with all due respect to Norwich, who have done more than us over the last 10 years, it's still not a fan base that will go at the manager, really, will it? You know, you feel in Ellen Road when there's pressure on. We've seen it over the years. There's a lot more expectation at Leeds United than there is at Norwich City. So you can get away with talking like it's another loss, let's just move on. It doesn't work like that at Leeds United. So he's going to have to know that there's going to be more expectation on him here. There's going to be more, you know, hunger for success here than there was at Norwich. I mean, is anybody here? Would anybody be happy doing that yo-yo stuff that Norwich do? Let me know in the comments and let me know in the live chat now, because I know I wouldn't be. I know I wouldn't be. Yeah, all these away. Sure, ruthless. Just like Bournemouth manager gets promoted, then we decide after that. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I'm looking at it short term now. I'm looking at it as get promoted now and do the business. But I also say to people who think it's Farke, and there is no guarantee of whoever we appoint, whether it's Farke, Vieira, or Parker, or whoever else is possibly in the mix that we've not heard of. But what if he gets appointed and we have a slow start to the season? What then? Seriously, what then? Because it's all well and good thinking that Farker's going to come in and we're going to spend the first 3 months of the season unbeaten or anything else like that. But just what if it doesn't go right? We've seen over the last year or so, we've gotten rid of managers like it's there's no tomorrow. We've literally had like 4 or 5 managers in the space of a year. What's to say that if Farke doesn't get off to a great start, where do we go then? Where do we go then? So that's what I'm saying. Not everything, and I'm not saying here Farke, if we appoint him, we guarantee promotion, but he gives us a better chance, doesn't he? But it's not guaranteed. There are no guarantees in the championship. There just isn't. I mean, again, a lot of people here say Norwich didn't back Farke after he got on promotion. We'll see. We'll see, Richard. We'll see what he would be after in terms of players. You know, his talent ID isn't the worst, but we'll see what happens. But we need to get promoted first, and we'll cross that bridge when it comes to it. But I'm just saying, in terms of how he set the team up, though, Richard, he set them up like he had the players to play the way that he wanted to. And you can't do that. That for me is being tactically naive. And we've already had that over the past couple of years. You know what I mean? We've already had tactically naive managers over the last couple of years. And you know what? I include Bielsa in that too. A lot of people won't like that, but he wouldn't adapt his tactics, which is why we're getting opened up the way that we did multiple times. And teams have just enjoyed playing against Leeds United because they knew what they could do to us. So we need to have somebody who's a little bit wiser. And listen, maybe Daniel Farke's learned from that. You know, I always say with any bad experience, you learn from it. You should take something from it. And maybe after doing what he did with Norwich, if he went up with Leeds and didn't get a lot of money, which I highly doubt, by the way, under the 49ers, I highly doubt that. Maybe he would know that he can't just leave it open like he did against Norwich, because it was ridiculous. Was ridiculous. You can't lose the games the way that they did and just say it's because of lack of money. No, the manager has to know, okay, I don't have those kind of tools. Let me adjust my tactics. But we'll see, won't we? We will see. Abstract saying, I ain't back in Farke. I'll just watch the Prem as a neutral and forget them unless they get back until he's gone for sure. Wow, Abstract is not having Farke at all. Wow, damn, man, that's cold, Abstract, man. You've been here for a while, so I know that isn't a troll. Wow, is it, does anyone else feel like that? That I've never seen that against Farke. I haven't seen that kind of opinion yet. Shout out to you, Abstract, man. Gary, see, could he handle the pressure or expectation of a club like Leeds? We'll see, won't we, Gary? We'll see. We always see these people. I've told you before, managers, players. Warnock couldn't do it here. So many good managers have come and could not do it. Brian McDermott did it at Reading, had no chance here. Again, could say it's because he didn't have the players or what have you. But it's just different here. You have to put that in your expectation as well and in your thought process when you think of somebody. Can they handle it here? Because Norwich is not Leeds United. It's just not. Um, Lewis, post game interviews going to trigger KG so much. Listen, it's going to bring Darren Farley a lot of material. Let's just say that if he comes back into the English game, but no, it's just for me. I don't want managers that shout and scream or blame everything else on other people. But you just had to watch his post game interviews and just see just how content he was with losing. And I don't like that. I don't like losing. I'm not a loser, so I don't want people who are at the club that I love to be content with losing either. It's just a certain way. But listen, we'll see. We'll see. Uh, Low D here saying, I really don't care who we get as long as we win. Really hope it's not Parker though. Low D, man, you just contradicted yourself in the one sentence, right? I don't really care who we get. Really hope it's not Parker though. I love that. I love that. Tim here saying, out of all the names we've been linked with, he has the most experience and is the most capable. I would agree with that, Tim, 100%. I would absolutely agree with that, and that's why I'm saying I am going with the more short term thing because I gotta say, people, I'm really not enjoying being at the Premier League already, and the ball hasn't even been kicked. I'm really not enjoying it. So, however we get back up there, let's do it. That's how I am. Um, Danny here saying, whoever it is that comes in, we have to be patient. We can't be changing managers every 6 months. Danny, I'd love that to be the case. But Danny, I'll ask you, and hopefully you're still here. Let's just say, I mean, I hate to think of this kind of scenario. Let's just say we lost 7 of the first 10 games. Are we still going to keep Daniel Farke with that kind of record? Or would you think, Lord have mercy, this guy's crumbling. Who's next? Who's next? I mean, 7 out of 10, that's very extreme, and I don't think that will happen. Although you just never know, do you? You just never know. But yeah, I just don't see it happening at this club. There's Yeah, Dave. Can't wait to hear Michael Norman's impression when Farker comes in. Yeah, he's gonna have a field day, Michael. He'll love it too. He'll definitely love that one. Uh, let's have a look. Gavin here saying we'll have a lot of pace in the side if we play our youngsters, etc. Yeah, we need pace. We need people that can finish, who can pass the ball, who can defend soundly. And there's a lot of people are glossing over. We talk about Charlie Creswell a lot, and rightly so. But we need to see what what's his name, Diego Montero can do as well. Is he going to be up for the championship? I think if he's not going to be playing in the championship, I don't know when we're going to play him. So we're going to see if he's going to be one of those that breaks through as well. Uh, Stephen here saying, hope the interview process establish a backup option if the high person sucks. Yeah, listen, all clubs always keep a backup option. I mean, you even heard it with our lot this season alone, how they kind of spoke to Sam Allardyce back in March or something like that, but then they went in a different direction. It happens all the time. They don't just leave it as one and then cut everybody off. As long as that manager's probably out of work, they'll always have a backup option. That's how it works in football. Um, yeah, Paul. Yeah, I know. KG, that Premier League snapshot is the image. Bloody Luton in it and not us is sad. Yeah, he's talking about this on the side. I know it's painful. It's so painful. Look at that. Uh, Look at that. I mean, come on. How are we not there still? How are we not there? Oh, it hurts, doesn't it, Paul? Honestly, it hurts more than I'm willing to say on stream. But I'm absolutely gutted that we're back in the position we're in. I'm so gutted. You have no idea. Richard saying here, I don't think the 49ers have that failure on the menu. The time they've already spent looking for a manager, they're not going to accept a yo-yo team. Yeah, I wouldn't expect so either. I think that the 49ers were very, very disappointed that we even dropped out the Premier League to begin with. You know, a lot of people saying it's probably benefiting them paying less for the club than however much they would have had to pay if we were in the Prem. I honestly believe that they would have preferred to pay that Premier League money and have a Premier League team rather than having to now get the resources in and hope that we get back up on the first attempt. I really genuinely believe that because they're not short of cash, are they? They've got a lot of investors on that board. So yeah, I believe so. I believe that once we get back to the Prem, I hope that we do it right next time. I really do. But we've got to get there first, people, and we've got a long, long season ahead of us. A long season. Liam here. I mean, yeah, facts, Liam. The last 2 years has been so bad as a Leeds fan, Cage. It's been the worst. Not the worst. It's not the worst for me. I think the worst for me will always be when we had a fire sale, when we was nearly going out of business. I don't think anything's going to hurt like that one. But yeah, it's been a bad, bad couple of years. Very, very bad. And listen, let's just hope that we got a successful one coming up. Uh, Richard here saying at first I thought Farke was a lazy choice, but as the weeks have plodded on, he's definitely the best and most dependent choice. I'd agree with that, Richard. Lazy. Listen, I think I always try and look at things another way, Richard, as well, and that if another club that is going to be contending appointed Daniel Farke, would I look at that and go, "Oh man, they mean business"? I'd probably say yes. I'd probably say yes. So if Leeds United are the ones to do it, I'm not going to be doing cartwheels. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to be doing backflips, but I'll be like, okay. So they definitely mean they need this to be a 1 year loan to the championship and get back up, and that's how I'm feeling. Um, Brian here saying, KG off topic, but do you think Adams has a better chance of staying at Leeds with Berhalter to return into the US men's national team? I don't think it matters to him what division Tyler plays in. Yeah, it shouldn't matter, Brian. I always say with nations like USA and Wales and all these guys, and with no disrespect, honestly, Scotland as well, is that they don't have all their premium players in top leagues. They don't. They just don't have all of them in top leagues. Remember when I was talking about Dan James possibly staying, and somebody mentioned about the Wales team. The Wales team took somebody from League Two to the World Cup or the Euros 1 year. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter so much for those kind of nations. Usually, like the big ones, Germany, Italy, and all these guys, they usually like all the big players to play in the big leagues. But I don't think it would affect Adams' US chances at all. But obviously, we're still hearing whispers, loud whispers, that clubs are looking at Tyler Adams, which was obvious anyway. But we just have to wait and see. I'm not going to talk about that too much here because I haven't seen anything too concrete as of yet. Hey, listen, we got Andrea Radrazani in the chat. I got money on Farke. Look at that, Andrea. Yeah, put some of that money you got from Leeds back on the club. Yeah, nice one. Wilf, KG, did we not have to sell the goldfish at one point? I don't know if that was true, Wilf. I don't know if that was actually true, but there was a lot of things being sold, wasn't there, at the time? And when you saw that Lee Bowyer one summer was going to go to Liverpool for 9 million, and then literally 6 months later in January he goes to West Ham for 500,000. Yeah, it doesn't get more painful than those times for me personally. Just a disaster, absolute disaster. But yeah, so yeah, Daniel Farke is the leading candidate. Give me your thoughts on that in the comments below. Let's move on to. Okay, listen, I'm not going to speak too much on this one today. Let me just share it though. In that Damasio reporting that Everton are keen on Italy international forward Wilfred Gnonto from Leeds. Now, I'm not going to speak too much on this one because it's just keen. You know what I mean? I'm keen on Rhea Ripley, but that don't mean anything, does it? One of them. But all I'll say on this one is if Everton are serious about their interest and do submit a bid, I will hope that Leeds United get more than what they paid for Dwight McNeil. Because with Wilfred Gnonto's contract, I'm not sure if he will have a relegation release clause in there. Maybe some of you could tell me, but he didn't re-sign a new deal on improved terms, which would make him then put one in. And he was coming from Zurich. So I don't believe that him or his agent was in any position of strength to demand a relegation release clause. So if he's got if we've set in the price, if he doesn't go for more than Dwight McNeil, then we've done bad business again because he's twice the player of Dwight McNeil. Meaty McNeil, I call him, because he's not a good player. He's not. You know what I mean? Wilfred Gnonto is twice the player of McNeil. So I would hope that if Everton are going to bid on him, that we get more than that. That's all I'll say. I mean, yeah, Stephen here saying Everton subject to financial fair play. Yeah, I don't know how serious that is. I mean, there's all the complaining being done, but I don't know if anything's going to happen. We haven't seen Premier League clubs get sanctioned yet. You know, there's sanctions happening in the Championship almost every month, but as far as the Premier League, nothing's really happened. But all I'll say is that if they got McNeil for 20, we need to be looking at more than 20 for Gnonto easily if he hasn't got a relegation release clause. Yeah, Danny here saying KG was Bowyer was an absolute legend. He busted midfield. He's one of my favorites. Yeah, on the pitch, Bowyer was fantastic. And if it wasn't for all the crap off the field, I think he would have got more than the one England cap. He was absolutely sensational. Put him in the middle of midfield, the right of midfield. He was up and down, defended well. He did all the hard yards that everyone loves, but he actually had end product on it too. Tackling, goals, assists. He was absolutely magnificent for us. One of my favorite ever Leeds players. Wilf here is saying that no relegation release clause and Everton have no money reported today. I know the thing is, Wilf, though, I didn't think they had any money last summer, and then they got McNeil for 20. So whether they're paying Burnley over the next 20 years on Klarna, they got the deal done somehow, didn't they? Dave here saying Gnonto will know he will get relegated again next season with Everton. Dave, you know what I would say about that though is that Everton have been threatened with relegation in the Premier League, like since the Premier League started. They just don't get relegated. I think they could be one of those where it's going to take something drastic for them to get relegated, because otherwise they'll stay up. I mean, I remember Southampton being one of those kind of clubs at the start, and they just would not get relegated, would they? They just couldn't do it. Then they finally got relegated once Letitia retired, which is, for me, was no coincidence. So, but yeah, I don't know. I think sometimes players will take the opportunity just to get back in the Premier League and show what they can do on the big stage, rather than thinking, I think Leeds will come up and Everton will come down, so I'll stay another year. You'd hope that some players will think like that, depending on the club. But like I said, with Gnonto at Everton, I could see that happening. But like say Gnonto at Luton, probably not. You know, I think there's levels to it. Gavin here saying, would you take Cody from Wolves? I absolutely would in the Championship. Connor Cody from Wolves, yeah, 100%. Yeah. I absolutely would. I like the sound of that, but I don't know if he's available. I think maybe another Premier League club will possibly be looking at him too. He'll probably want to stay in the Premier League as well, as he's one of the centre back options for England, isn't he? So yeah, I mean, Gavin here saying Cody too slow. My opinion. The only thing I would say with that, Gavin, is that he's good. He's a very good positional defender. So even though he is slow, he's not quick at all. Positionally, he's pretty good, I would say. And it's not always a quick defender means that they're going to be any good. Sometimes they can be slow but positionally good, and I think he falls under that umbrella. Yeah, Wilf, that's what I'm saying. Everton said a few years ago on goal difference, they're relegation proof, it seems. So fair play to him. Fair play to him. So yeah, that just that whisper on Gnonto. But let's go to the other one. This one that seems to be pretty certain to happen now. Fabrizio saying Roma and Leeds are closing in on the deal as for Diego Llorente to rejoin Roma until the end of next season. Deal being complete and his final details have been discussed overnight. And that was another bit of some of the same person that asked the question about Llorente going on loan. Am I concerned with that? Are we not getting a fee? No concern at all, because his wages, there's no point keeping him in the Championship. So free up those wages that can then go into a transfer fee or a loan deal for a better player than Llorente that will suit us in the Championship. So again, zero problems with Diego Llorente rejoining Roma for the season. You know what I mean? Freddie Mac saying, KG, can you tell me why Roberto Martinez hasn't been the manager conversation? Doesn't he manage an international team now? I don't know. I know he's not at Belgium, but I'm pretty sure he's at another club. I'm pretty sure that's probably why. Michelle Lee saying bye to Llorente. Yeah, honestly, I wish I could. If I could say what I wanted to say, they suspend me 6 months. You know what I know? But I just can't wait to see the back of a lot of these players. I need to see these deals done, wrapped up in the boat, and packaged away. And Llorente falls under that umbrella. Listen, he's a nice guy, but what I've already said about nice guy, good attitude, and all that doesn't get you anywhere. We need actual good football players. I know that's a bit of a dirty word for a few of you that, just like good characters. We need some good football players on the pitch. And for me, it just wasn't going to work out for him at Leeds United. So yeah, listen, good luck to him at Roma, and that should be done soon. But who will be joining him soon as well, out of nowhere, Rasmus Kristensen. Um, Damasio reporting that talks are at an advanced stage for Rasmus Kristensen to join Roma from Leeds. The player has given his approval to move. He's keen on it. The formula of the deal is still to be understood, and it's said to be another loan deal. So Roma are looking for a double loan from Leeds United, and again, no issues with that. We only paid 10 million for him anyway, so it is what it is. But we did overpay on a few of those, and Paul Gray here saying 18 million. Yeah, we overpaid for a few of these players, I'm afraid. And 18 million isn't a lot of money, but for Llorente, it probably was. So but yeah, Rasmus Kristensen, who, if we remember a few weeks ago, said he would be happy to stay, is now happy to the first club he's been linked with, to move. So it is what it is. I always thought with Christensen that maybe the championship would be okay for him, but I'm not going to lose sleep about him leaving. I think you could get any generic right back in the league, and they do just as good a job as Rasmus, and on a cheaper wage as well, which is important. I always say about this though, people. Oh, Martinez, of course, yeah, he's managing Portugal. So there you go. That closed that one. I knew he went to another international team, but yeah, Roberto Martinez is Portugal manager. I always say I don't pocket watch any of these players. I always tell you that don't pocket watch another man's money. But in terms of where we're at now in the championship, we need all the available funds that we can get to get players that will help us get out of this league. It's not like the Premier League where you can have a few of these players on big money not doing much. Now you've got to utilize all the money you can, and parachute payments can only help you so much. We've still got to pay some installments from previous transfers of players that we're trying to make leave, which is a brilliant irony, being very, very Leeds United. But yeah, again, not sad at all to see Rasmus Kristensen linked with a move away. I think it's another good one out. I just hope that we get another right back in if Cody Drama is to leave. I mean, Mike Balanoff here. I mean, thank you. I've just said that, but yeah, if Rasmus leaves, hopefully that will help with keeping drama. I hope so, Mike. I really do. But it seems that the Premier League pool is going to be a bit too much for us to compete with, even though it's just Burnley, and I think it's Luton that are trying to keep him as well. I just see him at Burnley, Vincent Company. I can see that happening. I can see that happening. So it will be on us to find a new right back, because if we're starting the season with Luke Ayling at right back, forget about it. Then just forget it. You know what I mean? Just forget about it. There's no point. Absolutely no point. He was a meaty right back when we was in the championship before Bielsa. What makes anyone think he's going to be any good now at 32 years old? Forget about it. We need to get a new right back in, please. Begging the 49ers. Get a new starting right back in the building. Begging you. Ben here saying, hopefully this tempts drama to stay and keep Ayling far away from the first team. Unfortunately, Ben, while those guys are still in the squad, they won't be too far away from the first team because fans won't allow it. I always say on here, I'm up against a fighting battle by myself. It seems that I just want better football players at the club, and that whatever leadership group is at Leeds United is a toxic one, and it needs to be broken up. But as long as they still have jobs at Leeds United, they will always be close to the first team. You saw it last season. Llorente had a few bad games in a row, and he got replaced by Liam Cooper, who then proceeded to have a few bad games himself. He doesn't come out the team. Happens all the time. Happens all the time. Rasmus, as bad as he is, he got, when Luke Ayling finally come out of the team after his 8th individual error in a row, Rasmus had one game against Liverpool, which we got battered in 6-0, and then another one, and it was back to Ayling again. They have a lot longer rope than the other players in the team do, and that can't go unnoticed with the other players in the squad either. Exactly, Paul. 23, 24, and we still talk about Luke Ayling. That's what I'm saying. But like I say, I will keep fighting the good fight, no matter how, no matter how contradictory it seems to what everyone else feels. I will keep on fighting the good fight about what Robert here says. Better football players, KG, you are right. I will take that. Mr. Anthrope saying, I love Roma. Listen, Jose Mourinho, he's doing us like what Chelsea do, like Saudi Arabia are doing for Chelsea. He's doing us a big favor. I love Jose Mourinho anyway. And listen, you know what? Jose Mourinho, people are probably saying, how can he love Jose and he wants these kind of players? Listen, Jose, if he feels like he can get something out of these guys in the Serie A league, once again, you've got to put things into context. The Serie A league is a lot slower. You don't have to, move as quickly as you do in England. So maybe it will suit Rasmus a bit better. Maybe it will. Just for me, if he sees something in them, cool. He must want them. But yeah, loan deals. Um, Loan deals for me in Italy, it's got to be the way because they don't have a lot of money in that league. They just don't. You seen Juventus signing Tim Weir. What? Now, any US fans that are here are probably like, no, Tim Weir's awesome. He's not. He's not Juventus awesome. So you know what I mean? Isaac here, shout out to you, Isaac. Any chat of Bamford leaving yet? Why can't we propose to sell to the Saudi league? Listen, I'll put him on the first thing smoking. Honestly, he's another one that I just can't wait to get rid of because even though this guy has contributed to us being relegated, and let me just make it clear, he wasn't the only one, but he contributed to us being relegated with his paltry 4 league goals and terrible misses over multiple games. He still have people that defend him like he was their relative. You know what I mean? But that's the hold that these players have got on them. I tell you already, and I'll tell you again, Stockholm syndrome. Some people just can't shake it. They feel that they can't live without some of these players. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. Uh Patrick, love the American accent. Listen, it was just a quick one. I can do various ones, I can do various ones. Um Oh, Wuxia here. Wuxia is Jesse Marsh's biggest fan. You haven't watched much Weir then. I have seen Tim Weir play, and he isn't good. Is he better than Pepe? Wuxia, let me know. Do you think he's better than Ricardo Pepe? I would not put Tim Weir anywhere near Pepe's level of what Pepe I think Pepe could achieve. Um, yeah. So here we go. I think okay. So we've done Rasmus. Yeah, that one's done. Is there anyone else? Is that the last one? Ah, that is the last one. Okay, okay. So yeah, that is that. Let me just yeah, see, I knew it. Sorry, I'm back here. I'm back here. I thought so. Yeah, Brian, we are playing wing back for Juventus. I just don't get it. Honestly, I don't understand it. Sly saying we're average at best. That's how I've seen him as well. Wooksy come back saying, I would say for now he's better than Pepe. Pepe's real potential. Oh, Wooksy, I'll just say this: if you was offering me the two of the strikers now to play for the club, I'd take Pepe all day long. I just like what the guy's about. I think his ceiling could be high if he stays at the level he is. But I think he's moving already, isn't he, Wooksy? But yeah, we're not in that kind of league to get those kind of players now anyway. Um but yeah, I mean, Mike is saying for 12 million, Weir would be an asset at Leeds, better than Somerville for sure. Again, Somerville also being linked with a move away. I kind of touched on it on the last video. We'll see how that plays out. We'll see how much we get for him because I don't think he'll have a relegation Leeds contract clause in his contract either. So we'll see. Let me just see any other comments before we. Oh yeah, I got a couple super chats. Let me get those before we go. Jason here saying no manager will be announced till the 49ers get the green light. And Radaby saying Farke, the best choice for me. Good style of play, had success with limited resources. Waiting is torture. On the player front, who do you want, KGR? Radaby Leeds, I just want new players in. I don't know at this point in time. I just want players in that can help us get out the league. It's going to be interesting for me to see what kind of I hate this kind of phrase, but the pick of the litter that we get from the Premier League, who's available from the Premier League and who's willing to step down. I think that's going to be very key for us too, both on loan and permanent as well. It's going to be interesting to see who we get, but I'm excited for that. I'm excited for that. And what next? He is saying, did you see Somerville's comments about how he loves Leeds and hopes we're back in the Premier League soon? I reckon he stays. Listen, you know what? For all the stick that Somerville gets in terms of his supposed, slackness and everything else like that, which I find very interesting, but he said all the right things publicly. He hasn't come out and said that he hopes to leave or he's hoping that this tournament is a shut window for him or anything close to that, like Eli Melier did. He's just said, "I hope Leeds United get back in there next season." He hasn't said with him or without him, which is very smart, very good, Crescencio. But no, I would in the championship. I would absolutely love to keep Somerville. I think you would absolutely light this league up, but it's going to be hard, man. Especially if he has a good tournament. If he has a good tournament, I think we've got little chance of keeping him. Sure. Sean saying the speed it's going, we'll be shopping in the bargain bins again, and that's what I'm saying, Sean. If going back to the start of the video, if Farke is the man, let's get him in and get the players in because as anyone sensible should know, we're not signing any players without a manager present. It's just not going to happen. And yeah, listen, the takeover I think will be ratified as pretty soon. But once it is, I need to see that manager appointment just above that announcement too, because we need to get things done. Ben here saying Sinister and Gnonto, Rutter and Somerville in the championship would cook. They would. How many of those we keep will be very, very interesting. I still think that some of Rutter out of all those possibly goes back out on loan for the season. I don't think we're going to sell him. I think it will be a loan to possibly back to the Bundesliga or League One. So we'll see. We'll see what happens there. But in the championship, I would absolutely love Rutter to stay, but we'll see. Robert saying we need some good players on loan from the likes of Man City, etc. Yeah. Daniel Farke, does he have any connection? I don't know about his connections. I know Patrick Vieira's got connections at Arsenal, Man City, and all those kind of places, and plus he's Patrick Vieira. But Farke, I don't know what kind of connections he's got in the Premier League, so I couldn't tell you. But yeah, we do need to take advantage of the loan system. We have to. Not every player can be bought, I'm afraid, people. It just doesn't work like that for championship clubs. We need to get good loans in, much like somebody said earlier about Sheffield United doing so, and we've got to do that too. Hey, speaking of Sheffield United, have you seen that report that they could actually lose? Now they're back in the Premier League, they could actually lose Sander Berge for around 10 million. It's insane how football works, doesn't it? It's crazy. They kept him in the championship for a couple of years, but now they're back in the Prem. He might actually leave. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. But yeah, CC saying don't need connections. Heckingbottom got McAtee from City. Yeah, that's true. That is true. It's just if we do get Farke, we just need to make sure that those players want to play under him. And listen, the way that he likes to play football, obviously, is very expansive, very free flowing in the championship. Anyway, well, he tried it in the Prem and got his ass bit. But yeah, I 100% doesn't need connections, but sometimes it does help. I mean, you only have to look at Frank Lampard. No one else is getting Tomori and Mason Mount in the championship. Nobody else is getting that, and that's where those kind of things can help you. Um, what else we got? Uh, oh, I didn't start the comment. Oh, never mind. Never mind. Yeah, Dave. Yeah, good point. Great point. Actually, Hammond has connections. Yeah, yeah. Newcastle. God, the thing is, what you got to remember that some of those players from Newcastle are absolutely awful. But hey, listen, what if oh no, is Dubravka left on a free? Has he left on a free, the goalkeeper? Dubravka. Nah. But I'm just thinking, I don't want some of Newcastle's absolute dross. Know what I mean? I wouldn't want that. But yeah, of course, Hammond will have connections. Uh, let's have a look. Jamie here saying, and if teams want our best players, demand a high fee. Yeah, 100%. Anyone without a relegation release clause, get the best money possible. Enough of this selling for cheap. Why is it always us that does that? The only time that we've got money for a player that wasn't worth it, the last time I can think of it was Jack Clark, because he was never worth 10 million pounds. He was never worth 10 million. not in any lifetime. But that's the power of Leeds United. He had a few good games at Leeds on TV. Tottenham bought him for 10.5 million. But yeah, 100%. We need to get the proper fees for players that don't have a relegation release clause. Um, Oh, but Jamie also adds we should be getting 5 million for Christensen. None of these loans not good enough. Get rid. It's tough though, Jamie. It is very tough, especially when they've had poor seasons to then demand 5 million from a player that was very poor in a relegated team. It's very hard. So loan is possibly the best way. And listen, Jamie, at least then you've got the money from his wages and everything else that comes with it to then reinvest back into the playing squad that we need to help get us up from the championship. Will, nearly 500 in. Let's get some likes, people. Yeah, you know what? I haven't done that in a while. Yeah, please like the video, people. That is the best way to help the channel out. And yeah, thank you for the support, the continued support. Much appreciated, guys. Maya here saying we've been selling cheap since the Snodgrass days. I mean, like I said earlier, I'd go back to when we was almost bankrupt and we was letting players. When you think, a lot of people don't like him, and that's your choice. But when you think of what Harry Kewell was for Leeds United in the era where 25 million was a lot for a player, that's how much he was getting bid on at the time of his peak. And the fact that he left for 5 is a slap in the face, absolute slap in the face. One of the best players in the Premier League at the time, and he went for 5. Bowyer, 500, 350,000. Poor. No, even Rio Ferdinand for the player that he was for 29 million. We've been getting rinsed. And then if you move forward a little bit more, Aaron Lennon for 1 million, James Milner, I can't remember how much he left for. But yeah, we've been selling players for cheap for far too long. Far too. You listen, Jamie, even further back, and this was before I got into it. But you're right, Jamie. Cantona, ridiculous. But it is what it is, isn't it? It is what it is. Isaac is saying unhappy players at a club is overhyped. Big teams keep top players even with high interest or demand high fees. It's not really overhyped though, Isaac. If you've heard of how toxic it can get in the changing room with players that actively try and look for moves, some players do the most. And listen, it goes both ways as well, because I've heard stories about when clubs try and get rid of players, how uncomfortable the clubs can make it for the player that they want to try and to make leave. So it goes both ways. But all I'll say is that we've already seen over the last couple of years, and especially this season, the dressing room isn't a great place to be. We'll never know what happened at halftime against Crystal Palace until someone comes out and says it. But you could see it's a broken dressing room as it is already. And if you're trying to keep an unhappy player in this league, we could end up doing a Stoke and still be here and be nowhere near the promotion race. So for me, I'd rather get them out for the fees that we believe to be fair and get players in that want to be here and that can play here. But it's a balancing act though. It is. Uh but yeah, anything else to say before we wrap this up? I will say as well, because someone asked me about the Penguins earlier, in terms of ice hockey, because much like Leeds United, the Penguins are also on a rebuilding phase where we're having to get back into the playoffs again. But thankfully, in ice hockey, there's no relegation, so you don't have to worry about it. But yeah, listen, I'm very happy with what the Penguins are doing. Our new general manager, Carl Dubas, who's in charge of everything, he knows what we need. He knows our star players did what they were supposed to do, but we need to get better talent in the bottom 6. He's looking to trade for a few players. I'm excited about what's to come for the Penguins. But what I'm bringing it back to football. That's what I need now from the football side in Leeds United. I need for the owners to give me some actions and show me some actions to get me excited. Because right now, I don't know how you guys are feeling, people. Let me know in the chat now. Let me know in the comments. But as we sit here today with the current squad that we've got with no manager, are you excited for this season coming up? I mean, excited. Can you wait for that first game of the season versus Cardiff? Let me know, because I'm not. I'm not looking forward to it as we sit here today. I'm not excited about this project, and I hate using that word project because it was very true. Martin O'Neill said it on TV recently. There is no such thing as a project or nothing like that, because you don't get time for that. You've got your goals and you're out there to achieve them. Our goal this year is promotion, and at this point in time with the squad we have, I don't see us doing it. I don't see us doing it at all. Paul saying, KG, any games you're looking forward to this season? Um, probably Sheffield Wednesday. Probably Sheffield Wednesday. Just because I have people that I know that support Sheffield Wednesday. That should be very interesting. Uh, yeah, a lot of those kind of ones, Huddersfield, Rotherham, just for the the rivalry it causes. But when we lose those games, man, it's a nightmare. You just hear these little fans piping up, man. I can't believe we're back here, man. Oh, God damn it. But yeah, probably Sheffield Wednesday overall. Sunderland as well. I think that will be a good game. I like the way Sunderland play football. So yeah, Sunderland, that should be a decent one as well. Mr. Anthrope is saying we've got no idea what the squad will look like. KG, it's disturbing. Yeah, that's why I'm saying. That's why I can't be hyped up for this season so far. On paper and everything else, we are favourites to go up just because we're Leeds United. But we know this squad. Well, a lot of us know this squad and know that if this is the squad to go out on the first day of the season, would you be confident of 3 points? I'm not. I'm certainly not confident with these guys getting 3 points on the first game of the season. I'm just not. BP is saying no, not excited at all. We still have not got rid of the dross players and got new ones in. Can see we start with the useless lot who got us relegated. Exactly. That's how I feel at this point in time. And I always try and look at the positive side of things. I really do. But I told you already, I've got PTSD from some of these players playing football, especially seeing them against Tottenham in the flesh. They've just scarred me. They can't play football. They're like dads on a park. They didn't look like professional footballers. Jamie here saying, I think we'll get quite a few signings in. I believe that too, Jamie. But until that happens, I'm going to be skeptical of this coming season as we speak today. Indian Joe saying, if we start with the likes of Ailing, Cooper, and Bamford, then mid-table finishes on the cards. Yeah, that's how I feel. But the thing is, you've got fans that believe that these guys can actually play almost every game, which with Liam Cooper, we already know can't happen. He can barely play one game a week in the Prem. But they believe that these guys can help us get back up. I just don't see where you're getting that from. Because before Bielsa, these guys were trash. I mean, Bamford himself, before he wasn't even here before Bielsa, but he was mid. He was mid. He did not have a good goal scoring record. Still doesn't. He just about hit 50 goals, wasn't it, this season? And he's been here for years. And he's a striker. Man, get these guys out of here, man. Get these guys out of here. Seriously, man. Seriously. Man, I tell you, if I didn't care about the rules and regulations of this website, when you speak to me in person, people that have spoken to me in person know exactly how I feel about these players. You guys know how I feel. Marching on podcast, KJ, are you more bothered that we've got nobody in or not shifted many out? Nobody in Marching on podcast, because at least then you can go by the basis of, okay, this guy's going to be playing, so it doesn't matter if we keep this guy here. This guy will probably be our starter. At this point, with nobody coming in, we're having to look at some of these players and going, geez, these guys could be starting on the first game of the season. And that terrifies me, actually scares me. So, yeah, for me, it's more about anybody in. So that's why it's important we get a manager in. Yeah, Stuart, I'll go with this as well. I think once the manager's situation is sorted out, we'll see influx of players out and players coming in. Let's hope so. Anyway, keep up the great and sensible content, KG. Thank you, Stuart. But yeah, I'm with you on the first bit as well. I think once that is sorted, then the dominoes will fall, and we'll start to see the wheels in motion for this squad being reshaped into what we need it to be for this coming season. 100%. But CB, I mean, again, why do people not get it? We can't sign anyone to the 49ers takeover, and that's down to EFL approval. We know that, CB, but that doesn't change the reality of where we're at. We're talking about what we need now and for the season ahead, and we know that this thing will get approved. I don't think there's been any rumors of any jeopardy of it not being approved, but we have to talk about the situation we're in now. I mean, if you don't want to listen to it, then just sign off. You know what I mean? But we're talking about how we're feeling now with no manager, no signings coming in. If you want to wait for the approval to be done before you take part in any streams or anything else like that, then just wait. You know what I mean? God, some people, man, you don't have to actually watch these things on YouTube. It's not like Twitter where they keep on feeding you everyone's tweets, even if you're not following them. I can't stand Twitter, by the way, people. So yeah, probably don't follow me in that. I really don't use it that much. Instagram is where we are, but yeah, Twitter. I mean, I see more from people I don't follow than I do from people I do. It's an absolute cesspool of a platform, man. Honestly. But yeah, I think that is it. Okay, I mean, Jamie here saying, I think the championship is gritty and exciting. Living in the USA, I miss these old towns and cities. Okay, Jamie, you've moved out. It's gritty, Jamie. Yeah, yeah. I would say that exciting though. It's exciting when you're not in it. I think. I think it's exciting when you're not in it. When you're in it though, it's not exciting for me. This is not football. And watching it, catching glimpses of games over the last couple of years in this league, even the playoff finals and stuff, it's poor. It's so poor. It's just bad quality football. So yeah, one like I say, 1 year loan deal, and then let's get out of here, please. Um, but yeah. Paul Gray here saying better away days. Definitely don't mind 10,000 away at Preston. Oh boy. Oh boy. CB's come back and saying, I get what you're saying, KG, but people seem to think the club are just sitting on their hands. No, CB, I don't. I don't think that, but we will see, won't we? We'll see once everything is officially announced and how quickly things get announced after. So let's just say we get the approval from the EFL tomorrow. Will we then, an hour later, because all the work has gone into it, get our manager announcement then? Will we then get a player who they've also had to speak to and say, we are definitely getting Daniel Farke in. You can trust us. Once he's in, please sign the contract. We will see, won't we? We'll see how quickly the chips fall once the first domino has fallen. That's all we can do. But up until then, we have to talk about it because we are trying to get out of this league on the first time of asking. That is everyone's remit. There is nobody I've seen that has said that we need to be in this league for more than 1 year. Not one person, whether it be pundits, whether it be other fans, people that message me. There is nobody that's saying if we should take this year to consolidate, then go again next season. Not one person has said it. So it's quite important that we people have got thoughts and feelings on this kind of thing. But yeah, Paul, yeah, the standard football it's absolutely awful. Gregory here saying, imagine Farke and Gakores in. Yeah, I mean, I covered Gakores in the last stream, and he's been linked with the Premier League and Sporting Lisbon. So I think it's very unlikely we get him. If we did get him, that would be a beautiful signing for the Championship. I think it would have been a half decent one at Premier League level, in all honesty. But in the Championship, yeah, I like what he's about, but I think he's Premier League bound, I'm afraid. But listen, there's more players out there. This is another thing that happens with Leeds fans, and this is not you, Gregory, but once we get linked with a player, it's like we have to get that player, and there's no other players in the world that can possibly help us out. But there will be other players like the 49ers, their scouts, and everyone else will be looking at that we probably haven't even heard of or even thought they would come to Leeds United in the situation we're in. And that's the exciting part for me. But we need to see it done. We need to see it done. Please, let's get it done soon. But listen, people, we'll leave it there. It's been a good hour, near hour anyway. If there's anything else that you want to say in the comments, please put them in the comments. Always be respectful. I always make that clear. Um, sometimes some people I think, getting a little bit too familiar with me or something like that. Think that we're long-term buddies and all that. No, we keep things respectful. Oh, by the way, people. Oh, John. John, let me just say this. John here, I think KG is secretly relishing the trip to the den. John, even if I was invited to go to Millwall's ground, I'm not going there. I would not listen. I'm a very smart man, and I'm not going there to Millwall. I'd rather not. I'd rather stay at home than go to that ground. Okay, I just disgusting, just disgusting. But what I will say is, I don't know if you've seen Jamie Shackleton, who could also be coming back to us, by the way. He was in a vlog recently. I wouldn't really promote her because she's got a bit of a sketchy past, but it's a vlog on New York. By Molly Neville, I believe it's Gary Neville's daughter, but Jamie Shackleton's in there, and it just got me thinking about Jamie Shackleton back when he was playing under Bielsa and everything else like that, because he's enjoying himself on that trip with food and everything. Don't know if you've seen it, but yeah, Molly Neville, New York. If you type that in YouTube, you'll see it there. I'm not putting the link in because she ain't paid me for nothing. But yeah, Jamie Shackleton is in that vlog. So at this point in time, he's still our player. So yeah, if you want to see Jamie Shackleton in his off season, go and watch that stream. Sorry, that vlog video. But yeah, listen, people, I'm gonna leave it there. Hit the likes before you leave, people, and hit the like if you're watching replay. Drop your comments, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one, hopefully with a manager announcement. Peace out.